Most people want a successful life, but they don't want the struggle that comes with it. They choose comfort over challenge, convenience over effort, and then wonder why they feel stuck. The truth? Easy choices lead to a hard life. Hard choices lead to an easy life. If you always avoid discomfort, you're not protecting yourself. You're limiting yourself. Every time you choose the path of least resistance, you weaken your discipline, shrink your confidence, and make success harder. Meanwhile, those who embrace challenges, take risks, and push beyond their limits keep growing. In this video, you'll discover why staying comfortable is the biggest trap you can fall into, and how stepping into discomfort is the only way to unlock your full potential. Comfort zone is dangerous. The comfort zone feels safe, but it's the most dangerous place to stay. It's where growth stops, challenges are avoided, and skills deteriorate. What once felt easy starts becoming difficult. Not because the task got harder, but because you got weaker. Staying in this zone might feel comfortable now, but over time, it leads to stagnation and regret. Imagine someone who stops exercising for months. At first, nothing seems to change, but eventually, they struggle with simple tasks, walking upstairs, carrying groceries, even standing for long periods. The same happens with mental skills. If you stop learning, problem solving, or challenging yourself, your mind weakens. What was once effortless starts feeling overwhelming. Successful people don't avoid discomfort. They chase it. They know that every challenge makes them sharper, stronger, and more adaptable. They intentionally put themselves in situations that force growth. Think of someone who's afraid of public speaking. The more they avoid it, the scarier it gets. But if they face that fear head-on, eventually, it becomes second nature. The key to long-term success isn't avoiding discomfort, it's embracing it. Growth only happens when you push beyond what feels easy. The body gets stronger by lifting heavier weights. The mind evolves by solving tougher problems. The longer you stay in your comfort zone, the harder it becomes to leave. And the only way to break free? Start seeking out challenges deliberately. Challenge equals growth. Nothing meaningful in life comes without effort. The biggest transformations happen when you push past what's easy and step into discomfort. Every challenge you take on, whether physical, mental, or emotional, forces you to grow. Without resistance, there's no strength. Without struggle, there's no progress. If you never push beyond what you already know, you'll never evolve into something greater. Think about the first time you tried anything difficult, learning to ride a bike, lifting weights, speaking a new language. It was awkward, frustrating, and uncomfortable. But over time, repetition turns struggle into skill. That's the formula for growth. You either push forward and expand your abilities, or you stay where you are and let them weaken. There is no in-between. High achievers understand this. They actively seek discomfort because they know it leads to progress. An entrepreneur who risks failure learns more than someone who plays it safe. An athlete who trains through exhaustion builds endurance that the average person never will. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't? The successful ones get comfortable being uncomfortable. It all comes down to mindset. If you see challenges as obstacles, you'll avoid them. But if you see them as opportunities, you'll embrace them. The more you lean into discomfort, the more confident and resilient you become. And if you don't, there's a hidden consequence waiting. One that most people never realize until it's too late. Silent regression. Avoiding challenges doesn't just keep you where you are, it slowly pulls you backward. Most people think that if they don't push themselves, they'll simply stay the same. But life doesn't work that way. If you're not actively improving, you're deteriorating. Muscles shrink without exercise. Skills fade without practice. Confidence erodes without action. The price of avoiding discomfort is higher than people realize. Think of someone who once had great social skills but stopped putting themselves in new situations. Over time, conversations feel more awkward, confidence drops, and the anxiety of speaking up increases. It's not that they suddenly became bad at socializing. It's that they stopped exercising the ability. The same happens in every area of life. When you stop challenging yourself, even simple things start feeling difficult. This is why some people wake up one day and feel stuck. They didn't notice the slow decline, but years of avoiding discomfort turned into a mountain of lost potential. They feel weaker, less capable, and overwhelmed by things that used to be easy. And by the time they realize it, they've lost years to inaction. The only way to prevent this? Keep moving forward, no matter how small the step. Push your limits, even when it's uncomfortable. Growth isn't always obvious at first, but neither is decline. Every day, you're either progressing or regressing. And the best way to guarantee progress is to take control of how you grow. 3 ways to evolve. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It requires a structured approach. And the 3 most effective ways to evolve are through consistency, intensity, and duration. These 3 elements determine how fast and how much you improve. Without them, progress is slow, or worse, non-existent. If you want to level up in any area of life, you need to increase at least one of these factors. Consistency is the foundation of mastery. A person who trains daily, even at a low intensity, will surpass someone who trains hard but inconsistently. The same goes for learning, building skills, or improving habits. Writing a single page every day turns into a book. Reading for 20 minutes daily builds a wealth of knowledge over time. Small efforts, repeated consistently, create massive results. Intensity is what forces real adaptation. Doing the same workout with the same weight, your body stops growing. Repeating the same knowledge without challenging it, your mind stays stagnant. Increasing intensity, whether lifting heavier, tackling harder problems, or pushing your limits, keeps you progressing. Growth happens when you go beyond what's comfortable. Duration builds endurance. The longer you stick with something, the more ingrained it becomes. A beginner who meditates for 5 minutes might struggle, but extending that to 30 minutes over time leads to deeper focus and clarity. Increasing duration in anything, studying, training, practicing, creates lasting transformation. But there's a catch. Pushing too hard, too fast can backfire. The danger of overdoing it. Pushing yourself is essential, but pushing too hard can break you. Growth isn't about grinding until you collapse. It's about strategic progress. Burnout happens when people try to go from 0 to 100 overnight. They start with extreme diets, intense workouts, or unrealistic work schedules, only to crash and give up entirely. The key is gradual, sustainable improvement. Think of someone who decides to run every morning after years of inactivity. If they start with a full-speed sprint, they'll burn out in days. But if they build up slowly, walking, then jogging, then increasing speed, they make progress without injury. The same applies to mental and emotional resilience. Growth needs balance. Too little pressure leads to stagnation. Too much leads to breakdown. This is why many people quit. They overcommit, fail to keep up, and assume they're not capable, when in reality, they just push too hard, too fast. Real progress comes from knowing when to rest, when to push, and when to adjust. The most successful people don't just work hard, they work smart. They pace themselves to ensure long-term success. Sustainable growth is about knowing your limits while consistently expanding them. It's about small, continuous improvements that add up over time. And once you master this balance, something incredible happens. Progress becomes effortless, fueled by a positive cycle that keeps building on itself. The positive feedback loop of growth. Success isn't just about working hard. It's about building momentum. Small wins create confidence. Confidence fuels action. Action leads to results. This cycle is called a positive feedback loop, and it's what separates people who continuously improve from those who stay stuck. The more you challenge yourself, the more capable you feel, and the easier it becomes to push further. Think of someone who starts waking up early. The first few days are tough, but as they get used to it, they feel more productive. That feeling motivates them to build better habits, exercising, reading, or working on their goals. Before they know it, they've transformed their routine. This is how real change happens, not through one massive effort, but through small, consistent wins that stack up over time. The opposite is also true. Avoiding challenges creates a negative loop. The less you push yourself, the weaker your confidence becomes. Procrastination leads to guilt. Guilt leads to inaction, and inaction keeps you stuck. Breaking free requires flipping the cycle, starting with one small challenge that proves to yourself that you can grow. Once you build momentum, growth becomes second nature. confidence skyrockets. Motivation stops being something you need. It becomes something you have. And suddenly, what once seemed impossible starts feeling inevitable. The only thing left to do? Take the first step. Every easy choice you make today will make your life harder tomorrow. Every challenge you embrace now will make your future easier. That's the rule. There's no escaping it. So ask yourself, are you choosing comfort or growth? Are you avoiding difficulty? Or are you using it to build the life you actually want? The difference between success and regret isn't luck, talent, or intelligence. It's the ability to push through discomfort. The people who win are the ones who take action, even when it's hard. So don't wait. Pick one challenge, something uncomfortable but necessary, and commit to it today. Drop a comment below with what you're going to change. And if you're serious about leveling up, subscribe and turn on notifications. The hard road is the right road. Start walking.